If something bothered him, he wouldn't come right out and say it. He'd keep it to himself, harboring his resentment, letting the bad feelings build and build. That seems to be what happened following the discoveries he made in El Segundo. Children can be harsh judges when it comes to their parents, disinclined to grant clemency, and this was especially true in Chris's case. More even than most teens, he tended to see things in black and white. He measured himself and those around him by an impossibly rigorous moral code. Curiously, Chris didn't hold everyone to the same exacting standards. One of the individuals he professed to admire greatly over the last 2 years of his life was a heavy drinker and incorrigible philanderer who regularly beat up his girlfriends. Chris was well aware of this man's faults, yet managed to forgive them. He was also able to forgive, or overlook, the shortcomings of his literary heroes. Jack London was a notorious drunk. Tolstoy, despite his famous advocacy of celibacy, had been an enthusiastic sexual adventurer as a young man, and went on to father at least 13 children, some of whom were conceived at the same time the censorious Count was thundering in print against the evils of sex. Like many people, Chris apparently judged artists and close friends by their work, not their life. Yet he was temperamentally incapable of extending such lenity to his father. Whenever Walton Canvas, in his stern fashion, would dispense a fatherly admonishment to Chris, Corinne, or their half-siblings, Chris would fixate on his father's own less-than-sterling behavior many years earlier and silently denounce him as a sanctimonious hypocrite. Chris kept careful score, and over time he worked himself into a collar of self-righteous indignation that was impossible to keep bottled up. After Chris unearthed the particulars of Walt's
Clouds aren't too thick. I can almost feel like this blew up there.
Began to leak to the surface, but leak it eventually did. The boy could not pardon the mistakes his father had made as a young man, and he was even less willing to pardon the attempted concealment. He later declared to Corinne and others that the deception committed by Walt and Billy made his entire childhood seem like a fiction.
My phone speech already.
But he did not confront his parents with what he knew, then or ever. He chose instead to make a secret of his dark knowledge and express his rage obliquely, in silence and sullen withdrawal. In 1988, as Chris's resentment of his parents hardened, his sense of outrage over injustice in the world at large grew. That summer, Billy remembers, Chris started complaining about all the rich kids at Emory. More and more of the classes he took addressed such pressing social issues as racism and world hunger and inequities in the distribution of wealth. But despite his aversion to money,